I want to just run real quick. Mexico, it's a similar situation. Dr. Ann Lopez, who I had recently talked to, she says, the people of West Central Mexico, she's a professor at San Jose College, does research at the University of Berkeley, California. The people of West Central Mexico are easy corporate prey for predator coke, pushing their addictive products on peasant populations who can ill afford them. They can spend a whole day's wages simply on coke. There's no potable water for the people. It's a country where 12 million people don't even have access to drinkable water. And they push these products on a population where 1 in 10 may have undiagnosed diabetes. Also in Mexico, President Vicente Fox of Mexico, who just stepped down, he became president in the year 2000. Before he was became president of Mexico, he was the president of Coca-Cola Mexico. Under his presidency, Coca-Cola got 27 major water concessions from the Mexican government. Coca-Cola did, which allowed them to basically steal water on indigenous lands freely and to pollute rivers and not have to pay or clean them up. So there's a lot on that on Mexico, very similar to the India situation. Let's talk about the Sudan, just real briefly. The United States, since 1997, said that you cannot import or export from the Sudan. Why? Because of the issue of genocide in Darfur. Coca-Cola said when they were shutting down their operations in 1998, we're going to lose 7,000 jobs, but they had to shut down. Well, somehow there's a rule that Coca-Cola found some sort of a loophole. There's a rule in the U.S. or a law that says that donated articles intended to relieve human suffering, such as food, clothing, and medicine, donated, that can help relieve human suffering, can be exported to the Sudan. Coca-Cola used this in 2002 to set up a factory, and as the New York Times reported in October of this year, just last October, in the Sudan right now, the Coca-Cola factory is churning out 100,000 bottles of Coca-Cola, Fanta, and Sprite an hour. An hour. To go further, to show you the political clout that Coca-Cola has, reporter Nat Hintoff, a well-known reporter in the United States, wrote, "We all know the United States has placed certain trade restrictions on Sudan. Yet gum arabic is exempted, and it is the #1 export of Sudan. Coca-Cola and other major soft drink conglomerates need gum arabic. So what do? We proudly proclaim, the U.S. government, that we've got sanctions in Sudan, but we exempt gum arabic." When I was talking to Grant McEwen yesterday, they told me, look, we're going to be involved in a march protesting the genocide in Darfur and Sudan. I said, you might also want to hold some signs that say, Coke out of the Sudan. They should not be in there. They're not giving away anything free, and they certainly aren't a food or a medicine. Their products do more harm than good. By the way, Fanta, which you see in one of, I don't know how many of you know, but it's well known historically. There's been a Harvard paper published on it. Fanta was created in Nazi Germany so Coca-Cola could work with the Nazi regime during World War II and sell their products. A lot of people don't know that, but it is a fact. I'm going to make a suggestion in the Sudan. I like to be fair to everybody. As long as Coca-Cola is there, immediately all profits that are made by Coca-Cola locally and internationally must go into some type of effort to help the people in Darfur. But Coke needs to be out of the Sudan. We needed to bring pressure like during the anti-apartheid fight to bring down the white supremacist government of South Africa. I'm going to suggest this. Try to get my facts together so I can suggest it so it could be reality. In the Sudan, the per capita income is between $600 and $700 a year. Okay? When Coca-Cola was shutting down before they reopened in 1998, I saw an article that said they had about 7,000 workers. I'm going to suggest that we demand that Coca-Cola get out of the Sudan, live up to these sanctions. And when they do, that every worker, if there's 7,000 or however many, every worker that loses their job because of this, because again, we don't want these workers to be suffering, that Coca-Cola give every worker the equivalent of 4 per capita incomes. Because let's figure a family has an average maybe of 3 or 4 people, whatever. What would this cost Coca-Cola? to give 7,000 workers each the equivalent of 4 family incomes, which is, you know, it's not a big income. It would cost them, I think, just under $20 million. When the lawsuit against Coca-Cola was filed on human rights abuses in 2001, the CEO at that time, who we forced his resignation, we know that, his compensation that 1 year in 2001 was $105 million. Okay, so let's get Coke out of Sudan, but when we get them out, let's take care of the workers there. Make them pay, every one of those workers, 4 per capita. That's my suggestion. Yes.